ආයිබෝවන් හැමෝටම අද තියෙන්නේ ඉකොන් ඉංග්‍රීසි මීඩියම් දේශනය. ඉතින් අද අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නවා උසස් පෙළ වාණිජ්‍ය අංශයේ ඉගැන්වීම් කටයුතු කරන ආචාර්ය මණ්ඩලයක්. ඒ වගේම උසස් පෙළ වාණිජ්‍ය අංශයෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න අපේ සහෝදර සහෝදරියන්වත් ඉතාමත් ආදරයෙන් අපි අද දේශනය සඳහා පිළිගන්නවා. එහෙනම් අපිත් එක්ක අද හරවත් දේශනයක් කිරීම සඳහා එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නේ ශ්‍රීමාල් මధుරවල සර්. එහෙනම් අපි
Okay. Right, hope you all can see my screen. So today we are going to understand, right, what is credit creation. Before coming to credit creation, it's really important for us to understand what is credit creation and what happens, right, when the government increases their money supply, especially high powered money or the reserve money. I'll be continuing because 2 hours will be a very constrained time to do credit creation. So I'll be a little fast, but you can always interrupt me. You can send me, you can ask questions through chat, right? If you have any question, you can send me a message. And I'm planning to give you around 10 minutes before the session for your questions, right? But even during the lecture, if you want any clarification, just send me a message, right? So already I was introduced. Just to tell me, I'm Srimal Madhuraval. I'm the economics teacher of St. Joseph College, Colombo 10, right? Today we are going to discuss about credit creation. Before coming to credit creation, it is important to understand what is meant by money supply. Money supply is the total money stock available per day, right? So you already know, because I assume that most of you have already completed the money and banking unit. So money supply is the amount of money stock available per day, right? It is calculated in different ways in different countries, but in Sri Lanka we have money supply defined in 4 main ways. First is the M1. M1 is narrow money supply. That is inclusive of currency held by the public and demand deposits held by the public, right? Then M2 is calculated, right? That is broad money supply by adding time and saving deposits to M1, right? Then we have M2B by adding RFC and NRFC, or resident deposits of category of offshore banking units, to the foreign currency deposits with the domestic bank units to M2, right? We go to the very broad money supply, consolidated broad money supply. Then we come to M4, the financial survey, right? It is being calculated by adding, right, time and saving deposits of the specialized bank and the time and saving deposits of the financial companies. Children, it is really important to understand, right, what is meant by this. right? Without understanding money supply, you cannot understand credit creation, right? In credit creation, we understand how this money supply turns from M1 to M2, M2 to M2B, and why the M2B is bigger than M1, right? And how that creation happens. That's the most important thing to understand. So always try to understand the concepts, right? As I was telling you, money supply is the stock of money available per day, right? It is the stock of money available in the country. That can be defined in different ways. Now, if you take currency held by the public, that is the money that you have in your pockets, right? The money that you hold with the three purposes, right? Speculative purpose, right? Transaction motive and the precautionary motive. That is what is meant by currency held by the public, right? But people might have money in the banks also, right? So when we consider the money stock available per day, we do not only take the currency held by the public, but also we take the money that they have in the banks. That's how M1 turns into M2. That's how M2 turns into M2B. That's how M2B turns into M4. Right? Okay. We will now this is extracted from the CBSL report, right? This will make you understand what is credit creation, right? Now, as you see here, reserve money, right? Reserve money, which is also known as high powered money or H, right? Is only 964 million in 2020 and 1,305 in 2021, right? But if you go to, I'll go to directly M2, right? If you go to M2, right, what do you find? Consolidated broad money supply is 9,405.7 billion, and in 2021 it is 10,647.3 billion, right? So you can see government has printed only 964 billion, that has turned into 9,400 billions, almost 10 times. It is 9.75 times. That's what the money multiplier says. How much the high powered money turns into other types of money. That's what the money multiplier says. So according to money multiplier, it is 9.75. So whatever the government print has turned into, right, 9,407 billion, 10 times higher when it comes to the money supply of the country, right? Okay, so we had a governor, the previous governor of central bank said that when we print money, the inflation will not happen. But we all know that the main reason for inflation is money supply, according to the monetary view, right? Even the Keynesian believe in the long run, the money supply is the only cause, right, for the inflation, right? So money supply increases several times higher than what the government print. What the government print is reserve money, right? It is inclusive of currency held by the public, currency with the commercial banks, currency with the central bank. So it adds the total amount of money available in the whole country, that is notes and coins, currency, right? That is what is government has printed. But this government printed money has turned into huge amount, right? When it comes to M2, the amount of money held by the people, right? So the money supply of the country is around 9 times higher in 2020, right? And in 2021, it is 8.15 times higher, right, than what the government has printed. So that is what we are trying to understand here. How this money supply, how this government printed money, right, or the high powered money, the reserve money, turn into money, consolidated broad money supply. What is the reason for this creation, right? How 1,300 odd billions become 10,647 billion when it comes to the money supply, because government is not printing time and saving deposits. They are not printing deposits with the same financial companies or specialized banks. Government prints only currency, notes and coins. But this currency or high-powered money turns into several times higher when it comes to the money supply of the country, right? So as you see in your, with your eyes, it turns sometimes 10 times higher, right? So that is what we are trying to understand here, how this reserve money turns into, right, total money supply of the country, why the total money supply is several times higher than reserve money. Okay, so you see that Sri Lankan inflation last month, right, had been 45%, right? One reason for that is this, you see, in compared to 2020, in 2021, high-powered money has increased, right, from 341 billion. So government has printed in 2021 alone 341.4 billion, right, rupees. That is 35% increase to the high-powered money, right? So this will increase around 10 times, at least 8 times, right, higher when it comes to the money supply. So high-powered money will increase the money supply around 8 times, right? So we have to expect that our money supply will grow in the future, right? And this will grow, this growth will increase the inflation furthermore, right? So almost last few months, we had a supply shock inflation coming from lack of supplies. But in the future, because of government printing money, government adding 35% to the high-powered money, you might find a demand pull inflation, right? Inflation will increase in the few months to come, right? And we are already in the galloping level, right? It's around 45% last month. So it's 45.3% last month, right? That is May 2020. So we are already in a galloping level, right? We are, right? If you have learned inflation and listened to your teachers carefully, you might have heard that creeping inflation goes slowly, but when it comes to galloping, right? Galloping, this word comes from the horse running, and when all the four, right, legs are off the ground, we call it galloping. So there, we are in that level. We are the right. First, horse goes slowly, then it comes to the galloping level, and it's very fast to grow now, right? So we are already in the galloping level, and it will not take time, right, for us to turn into hyper, right? We'll pray that will not happen, right? There's some miracle should happen, right, for us not to go for a hyper level, right, according to the economic knowledge that I have. Okay, so we'll come to credit creation, right? What is the basics of credit creation? In order to understand the basis of credit creation, you should understand the difference between primary deposit and derivative deposits, right? What do you mean by primary deposits? Is the original deposit that comes to the banks as notes and coins, right? So primary deposits is when we go and deposit money in the bank. So it is the notes and coins that the bank receives, right? After receiving this primary deposit, bank has the capacity, the bank has the ability to give loans, right? And what happens here is these loans are given, these loans are provided, right, as deposits. They will create a deposit to give a loan. So those deposits that are created from the primary deposits because of the government banks trying to give loans is known as derivative deposit, right? So primary deposits are the cash deposits or the notes and coins deposits that customers do with their bank. And derivative deposits are the deposits that are created by the banks in ways of loans, in means of giving loans to the people, right? So it is the derivative deposit that creates the credit, that creates the money, that creates the deposits. Did you understand that? So primary deposits will help the government to go for a derivative, the banks to go for a derivative deposits, and it is the derivative deposits that creates money, that creates deposits. Did you understand that? Right? So there are few assumptions that we make when we are learning about the credit creation, right? If you have already learned credit creation, you might understand these assumptions. But if you have not already learned credit creation, it doesn't matter. Hopefully, you will understand with me. You will not get these assumptions 100%. Because you need to understand the whole process to understand why they are assumed so, right? So we assume that there is only one, there is more than one bank in the system, right? So in order to create credit, right, there should be more than one bank. But once the professor said that even one bank having branches, they are able to create credit, right? So if I say you should have at least two branches, right, that would be better, right? So there should be more than one bank in the banking system to create credit. One bank alone, one branch alone cannot create credit. So it is through the process of going money going from one bank to another, this credit creation happens, right? Okay. Then the second one, after making the initial deposit, there is no inflow of or outflow of money in the banking system, right? So we also assume that once there's a primary deposit coming into the bank, that is a person, a customer coming and deposit money in the bank, we assume that there will be no other customers coming and deposit money in the bank until the credit creation is complete, which is not normally happening, right? Every day you find hundreds and hundreds of people come and deposit their money in the bank, right? But for our convenience, in understanding the credit creation, we assume there's only one deposit that is coming, and after that deposit comes, there will be no deposits coming into the banks until the credit creation happens, right? So it's assumption. Third one, all the borrowers deposit their total amount of loans in another commercial bank, no cash leakage, right? Now this is normally not happening. When you take a loan, you try to turn that loan, right, into cash. But here, the bank will always give them the loan as a deposit, right? Bank will right, deposit money in their account and give the checkbook to them and say, now you have your money in the account, you can always withdraw with your checks, right? So there will be no cash given. Did you understand that? So we assume that this person who receives this loan, right, will not encash it, will not get the money to his hand, but will issue his loan using checks. And the person who receives this check will go and deposit that in another bank. Is that clear? Right? So that is the assumption. So there will be no cash coming into the hands of these customers, right? The cash goes from one bank to another, right? So that is the purpose of understanding, the purpose of assuming so. Then also we assume that no bank maintain excess reserve. Bank can have more than the statutory reserve ratio. Statutory reserve ratio is the decreed amount by the central bank of that country, right? The central bank has given them a reserve requirement. So from the amount of deposits they get, some portion of it has to be kept with them or with the central bank, right? That percentage is known as SRR, or the statutory reserve ratio, right? We'll come to that again, right? And that is the reserve requirement. We assume that banks will not have, right, any rupee more than the amount they are asked or more than the amount they are required to keep in the bank. right? Hope things are clear so far, right? Now we are going to understand how this credit creation happens, right? So we'll try to understand this with a simple, right, example, right? To understand how commercial banks influence the money supply of a country, let's first assume an economy without commercial banks, right? Uh, without commercial banks, which has 2,000 million held by the people, right? So this 2,000 cash is held by the people, currency held by the people. So the total money supply of the economy is 2,000, right? And there are no commercial banks. That is our assumption. And people have 2,000 million, so that will be equal to the total money supply. Because the total money supply, will take here M1, narrow money supply, is equal to the currency held by the public plus demand deposit. So people have 2,000 million in their hand. There are no banks, so there are no demand deposits. So the money supply will equal to 2,000. So money supply here equals to the amount of currency held by the people. Is that clear? Right? Now we assume that there is a bank established, right? When there are no banks, there are no deposits. Now a bank is established. Now let's assume that bank A is established. The duty of the bank is to accept the deposits of the public, safeguard them, and return them whenever they ask for. Let's now assume that the 1,000 million of currency held by the public was deposited in bank, right, by the public in the bank A, and the bank A does not provide loans, right? This is a primary deposit. So as I told you, the deposits that are coming, right, deposits that are coming to the banks are known as primary deposits, right? Okay. So bank was established, people had 2,000 million currency with them, and from that 2,000 million, they are going to deposit 1,000 million in the banking system, right? So the banks will get 1,000 million, right? Because the bank does not provide any loans, the total deposit will remain in the bank in notes and coins and referred as reserves. Now, this is the first time that we are coming across this word reserves, right? But it will not be the last time, right? Always remember that reserves should be in notes and coins, right? So it is the amount held by the bank, right? Bank in notes and coins, not deposits, right? So whatever the reserves they have, right, should be in notes and coins. So because of this, customers depositing 1,000 million, right, banks will get 1,000 million, right, and now they have reserves of 1,000 million. Because they are not providing loans, the total deposits will be held by the bank as reserves. This is known as 100% reserve banking system. We don't have 100% reserve banking system anywhere in the world, right? Because no banks in the world keeps the total deposits that they get from the customers as reserves, right? So if they keep the total deposits they get as reserves, right? Now reserves can be with them, which is known as cash reserves, or it can be with the central bank, right? They can keep some portion of their reserves, some portion of their notes and coins in the central bank. That part that they keep in the central bank should be counted as reserves. Is that clear? Right? So here they are keeping the total 1,000 as reserves, right? The total 1,000 that they get as deposits. So we call it the full reserve banking system or 100% reserve banking system. So as I said, there are no 100% reserve banking system in the world. Okay, first we'll see how the money supply has changed now. Previously, money supply was 2000, and that total 2000 was with the people. So it was equal to the currency held by the public. Now, people have deposited 1000 million in the banking system, right? They have worth 1000 million worth deposits, and also they have 1000 million worth currency held by them. So altogether, we have a money supply of 2000. Now the money supply has not changed. Still it is 2000, but its form has changed. Previously it was only currency held by the public. Now it is currency held by the public plus demand deposits, right? Okay. Then what is a fractional reserve banking system, right? මොකද්ද මේ fractional reserve banking system එක කියන්නේ? So as I said, if the bank keeps the total amount of deposits they get as reserves, as notes and coins, right? We call it a full reserve banking system. But there is no need for the banks to keep the total 1000 million or total amount they get as deposits. That all the customers will not come and ask for their deposits at once, right? Suppose now the bank A is thinking about the uselessness of holding the total currency of the public in their wallets without using. Public demands for loans to build houses, to buy vehicles, to spend on their education, and for many other reasons. Therefore, the bank can earn a profit by lending the currency held on the wallets of the on the wallets on an interest, right? So it's pointless. They don't want to keep the total amount of notes and coins with them. They can give it as loans because people ask for loans. They want to build houses, they want to for their education. So they can give out them as loans because even their depositors will not come and ask for their deposits at once. So having some portion as notes and coins to serve these customers on demand, they can they can they can give loans to the people, right? Thus holding some percentage from their total deposits, right? However, mostly the deposits will not demand for their total deposit at once. Therefore, holding some percentage of the deposits will be enough to serve their needs. Thus, holding some percentage from their total deposits, the rest is given as loans by the bank. This type of system is referred as fractional reserve banking system, right? මේකට අපි කියනවා fractional reserve banking system කියලා. Right? We call this fractional reserve banking system. This the meaning of fraction. Fraction means portion, right? So only a portion or a part of the deposits will be held as reserves. That's the meaning of fractional reserve banking system. This was questioned in the paper. Once in the paper, they asked what is fractional reserve banking system. So fractional reserve banking system is to hold some portion of the deposits as reserves and give the rest or extend the rest as loans. So almost every banking system in the world is a fractional reserve banking system. Right now, every banking system is a fractional reserve banking system, right? Because that's the way they earn profits. In such a system, only some percentage of or a fraction of the total deposits held as reserves to serve their depositors' needs on demand, and the rest is given as loans or invested to find profits, right? So the rest will be given by the banks as loans because they can earn an interest. Okay. Now let's see what happens if they extend these loans, right? Okay, to understand this better, let's extend the same example we considered before. Accordingly, M1 of the economy was 2000 million and the balance sheet of the bank A was as follows. So there was deposits of 1,000, and equal to that they had reserves. Equal to that they have notes and coins, right? That was the balance sheet in the example that we took already, right? And the currency held by the public was 1,000. Demand deposits was 1,000, and we had money supply of 2,000. Now the bank is thinking of giving loans, right? But the problem is, can they give the total 1,000 as loans? Now they have total 1,000 notes and coins that has come as a loan. Can they give the total 1,000 as loans? They can't, right? Because the central bank, the regulatory authority of the financial system, right, has made it required to hold some percentage, right? Statutory means legal. So it is legally required. That means they cannot do without it. They cannot run into reserve deficiency, right? What do you mean by reserve deficiency? That means you don't have the required reserves. You don't have the amount of money required in notes and coins, right, that the central bank has asked you to keep, right? If you don't have it, we call it reserve deficiency. Did you understand it? So no banks can legally run into reserve deficiency. When the central bank asks them to keep 10%, they will definitely keep 10%. You understand it, right? So that is what is known as statutory reserve requirement. So requirement, right, given by the central bank, right, legally. Okay, here in our example, we assume that SRR of this is 10%, right? The banks are required to have only 100 million as reserves, right? How 100 million comes? Now they had 1,000 deposits, right? That is the amount of reserves they have. Out of that, they have to keep only 10%, right? 10% of 1,000 is 100, right? So that is the requirement. They have to keep only 100, which means they are left with 900 excess reserves, right? Did you understand that? They cannot give the statutory requirement as loans. They can give only, right, only the excess amount as loans. So here the statutory reserve requirement is 100 million. So they have an excess of 900, which can be given as loans. So mostly the question asks you, what is the maximum loan that can be extended, right? So a bank can extend as loans the only amount they have as excess, right? They can only extend excess reserves. Is that clear? So if if you are asked to find the amount, the maximum amount that the bank can extend as loans, what you have to look for is the excess. You have to look for the excess reserves. You can find the excess reserve by using this equation. Right? Excess reserves equals reserves minus reserve requirement. Right? Clear? Okay. Now let's assume that the bank is extending this. They are extending this 900 as loans. Now this is where the magic happens. Right? Now try to understand. Okay? Try to understand how this magic happens. Try to understand how this credit creation happens. Right? This is where the credit creation happens. Now they have reserves. The bank has notes and coins worth 1,000, right? Equal to amount of deposits. Now they found out that the government has asked them only to keep 10%. So according to what the government has asked them, according to what the central bank has asked them, if they keep only 100, that will be enough. So they have 900 excess. This can be given as loans. Okay, they will give it as loans, right? When they give this as loans, they are not giving it from notes and coins. That's right. That's why this credit creation happens. Okay, they are not giving loans in notes and coins. They are giving these loans as a deposit, right? That's how the deposit is created. I told you that these deposits are derivative deposits. So they are giving loan as a deposits, right? How is it possible? Now suppose Nimal is looking for the loan, right? What they will do is they will open an account under Nimal's name and show a balance of 900 million in his account, right? And will give the checkbook to the checkbook to Nimal and say that you have money in your account, 900 million of it. You can issue checks, right, and get your money. Did you understand it? So no notes and coin was given to Nimal. No money was given to Nimal. Remember that. He was only given a deposit, right? So still the money, this 1,000, which is in notes and coins, is unshaken, right? Is unshaken, right? Nobody has taken it. Did you understand it? Right? Only the loans have increased from 900, and that increase also happens because it has been given as a loan deposit. So deposit will increase. Deposit will increase to 1,900, and loans will increase to 1,900. Loans will increase to 900, and we will get a total of 1,900. Did you all understand it? Right? If you have any question, you can ask. Right? Hope you understood. Now, if you understand these basics of credit creation, the rest will be easy. Right? Credit creation happens because the bank is not giving the loan from notes and coins. They are keeping the notes and coins. They will give it as a deposit, right? So they will open a deposit under the name of the person who's going to take the loan, and he will be given the checkbook. So they can always issue checks to get their money, right? Okay, now I know you had this question. However, we cannot expect the borrower to hold it as a deposit for a longer period. So person who gets the loan, got the loan, right? Because he needs some, right, expenditure to be done. Maybe he wanted to buy a land, maybe he wanted to be in a business, right? So he will not keep this money in the bank, in his account. He will issue checks to make payments, right? That is where our assumptions come, right? We assume that he will issue it with a check, and the person who gets this check will go and deposit in another bank, right? He's not taking money, right? Did you all understand it? So he will issue checks to make payments. We assume here that he issues the total amount to make the payment, right? Okay, he can issue only 100 million, but for our convenience, we assume that he issue the check for the total 900, right? And the person who receives this check will deposit in the bank B without encashing it, right? So the person who gets it is going to deposit in another bank, right? So remember that nobody takes the notes and coins to their hands. So they take the check, right? Nimal gives the check to Kamal, and Kamal go and deposit that check in his bank, right? That's how it happens. So no encashing, right? That is assumption that we have already made, right? Subsequently, bank B will call for money from bank A. And the bank A has to send this amount of 900 million to bank B, right? Okay, bank didn't give the money. Bank didn't give the notes and coins to Nimal. They gave Nimal a deposit. Nimal issued that check, and that check went to bank B, right? Now bank A cannot stay without giving that money to bank B. So when the bank B receives this money, receives this check, they will call for money. They will call, right? They will ask the bank A to pay for the check. right? Then bank A, right, has to send that amount to bank B. Okay, so now only you find, right, these reserves being tapped, these notes and coins being tapped. Now they don't right, the 900 they have given as loans now belongs to bank B, so they will have to send this to the bank B. So their notes and coins will reduce from 900. Why? Because, right, this 900 will be sent to bank B, right? Hope you'll understood, right? Okay, right, we'll go to now. The bank has sent these 900 notes and coins to bank B, right? And when they do that, they are paying for their, right, the person who took the loan from them. So his deposit will come to 0. So their deposits will come down from 1,900 to 1,000. Right? Did you all understand this? Okay. So what happens? We call this the realization process. So in the realization process, they will send the cash to the other bank and their deposit will come down from that amount, right? So they will have a settled bank balance sheet with reserves equals 100, loans equal 900, and deposits equal 1,000, right? Hope this is clear for you, right? And the bank B first got the check of 900. Now the bank A has sent them the notes and coins, 900. So they have reserves of 900 and deposits of 900, right? Now this is the first round, right? We'll see what has happened to the money supply. We'll see what had happened to the M1 after this first round, right? Now bank A had 1,000 deposits, right? You can remember bank A has 1,000 deposits. Now bank B, they also have 900 deposits, right? So altogether we have deposits of 1,900, right? And currency held by the public was 1,000, right? So altogether there is 2,900 million money supply. So previously money supply was only 2,000. Now it is 2,900, right? So the money supply has increased, okay, from 900 after just the first round, right? It just went from bank A to bank B. So when this process happens, this first round happens, money supply has increased from 900. Right? Hope you understood what is credit creation, right? We'll go to the second round, right, to understand this better, right? I want you now to do with do this with me, right? Now bank B has 900 notes and coins that was transferred by bank A, right? But the central bank has asked them to keep only 10%, right? Only 10% of their deposits. Okay. So from 900, if they keep only 90, that will be more than enough, right? So which means they have excess of 810. I told you that the paper will always ask you what is the maximum amount that this bank can extend. So if you want to find what is the maximum amount that this bank can extend, you have to look for the excess reserves. So excess reserves will be equal to reserves minus reserve requirement, right? So reserve requirement is deposits into SRR. They have 900, out of that 10% should be kept. So 90 is the reserve requirement. They have to keep only 90 notes and coins, which means they have 810 excess. This this excess can be given as loans. Is this clear? Right? So we'll try to understand what happens when this excess is given, right? So can you all try to draw the balance sheet of bank B before me, right? How it will appear, right? After this 810 is given as loans before realization, right? Before this money goes to some other bank and that bank calls for money, yeah, don't think about it. Just after this loan is provided, how will the balance sheet of bank B will appear, right? I'll give you around 2 minutes. Try by yourself. Try to fill this table. Try to find the total deposits, the reserves, and the loans after this bank has extended this 810. Okay, hope you have tried. Now, if you have got this answer correctly, right, you have understood a lot. They had deposits of 900 and reserves of 900, right? And they got to know that they have excess of 810. Now they will give that as loans. So what will happen? Loans will increase from 810. This loan will be given as a deposit, not from the notes and coins they have, not from the 900 they have. They will give it as a deposit. So deposit will increase, right, from 810. Okay. So deposits will go to 1,710, right? And reserves will remain the same. Still the notes and coins are untapped, right? But the loans are given worth 810. So there is total of 1,710, right? So hope you have got the answers. Okay. Now what happens after the realization process? Now the person who takes this loan will not keep it with him, right? He will go and deposit or give it as a, he will issue the check, and the person who gets the check will go and deposit in another bank. That's our assumption, right? Did you understand it? Let's assume that the person who gets this check go and deposit in bank C, right? Okay, I'm planning to give this slideshow to you before the end of the session, right? Hopefully it will be helpful for you, right? I will give it before the end of the session. Give me a reminder, right? Did you all understand this, right? So the person who gets this check will go and deposit in bank C, right? So bank C is getting a check worth 810. We'll see how the balance sheet of bank B will appear after they have sent this money. So bank C will get a check worth 810. So they will call for money. They will ask bank B, now we have got your check, please pay for it, right? So then the bank B has to send that money, right? So money, this time they have to send money. So it will go from reserves. So reserves will come down to 90, right? Because they have sent 810 to bank C, right? They are sending this 810 to pay for the loan that they have given. So the loan will come down to 0. So they will have only deposits of 900, right? And the balance sheet will balance again at 900. Did you all understand that? So this is called after realization, right? Right? When these loans are cleared, that's what those are the words that are used in the paper. So they ask for the balance sheet as soon as the loans are provided and also after the loans are cleared, right? So both the balance sheets should be known to you. Is that clear? Okay. So we are still in the second round. What will happen after the second round, right? අපි බලමු මේ second round එක ඉවර වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? Right? Now bank C, bank A already had 1000 deposits. Bank B had 900 deposits. Bank C had 810 deposits, right? Okay. So altogether there is deposits of 2,710, right? So bank A has a deposit of 1000, bank B has a deposit of 900, bank C has a deposit of 810, and altogether there's a deposits of 2,710. So together with the current sale by the public of 1000, there is 3,710 million, right? 3,710 million worth money supply in the country. So we began from 2000. After second round, money supply has increased to 3,710, right? Almost twice. Did you understand that? So this is how the money supply increases. This is what is known as credit creation. Did you all understand that? Right? Now one student has asked, right, why the loan not decrease when it is released, right? Here we are decreasing the deposit, right? Now suppose that we give this 810 to Kamal. So under Kamal's name, there will be 810 balance in his account, that is a deposit. But whenever Kamal take money, right? First let's assume he takes 10, so his balance will come down to 800. If you take another 100, it will come down to 700. So whenever he takes money, his balance comes down. So as balance comes down, the deposit held by the bank will come down. So when he withdraw total 810, so 1,710 will come down to 900 because he has withdrawn the money, right? But loan is the commitment, right? Loan is the commitment that Kamal has towards the bank, right? Simply because he got the money doesn't say that he has paid the loan. He has to pay this loan some later. Did you understand that? So loan will remain the same. Hope you understood, Ashan. Right? So loan will remain the same, right? But deposits will come down. Okay. Right. So we are in the second round, and after the second round, you find the current sale by the public is 1000, demand deposit is 2,710, and the total money supply has increased from from 1710, right? Just after 2 rounds. Okay, we'll go for one more round to understand this better, right? So this 810 is with bank C, and they need to keep only 10% of it. So 810, 10% is 81, right? So they have 729 excess, which can be given as loans, right? So let's assume that bank C is giving these 729 as loans, right? So can you fill the balance sheet again, right? How will the balance sheet of bank C will appear just after these loans are extended, right? Just after loans are extended, how will the balance sheet of bank C will appear? try it quickly. Right? Hope you have tried. Do you want more time? Right. Just check your answers. Now they have deposits of 800 and reserves of 810. So they will be giving 729 as loans, right? So loans will increase from 729. This will be given as a deposit. So deposits will increase from 729 to 1539, right? Okay. So altogether it will be 1539. Is that clear? Okay. Hope you have got the answers correct. If you have got the answer correct, that means you have understood a lot, right? If you are still going wrong, just check why you're going wrong, right? This is before realization. Now this person who gets the loan will issue it, right, to someone else, okay? And the person who gets it will go and deposit that in another bank. Let's assume in the bank D, right? Then bank D will call for money from bank C. So then the bank has to send that money. Notes and coins worth 729. So their reserves will come down to 81. And because now they have paid off the person's loan, right? that deposits will also come down from 729. So altogether they will have only 810 deposits, right? So the bank balance sheet will settle at 810. Okay. Now let's see the magic. After the third round, right? Bank A has 1,000 worth deposits. Bank B has 900 worth deposits. Bank C has 810 worth deposits. Bank D has 729 worth deposits. So after just 3 rounds, total banking system will have 3,439 million, right? And together with the currency held by the public of 1,000 million, it will be 4,439 million, right? So just 3 rounds, right, later you find the money supply increasing from 2,000 to 4,439. Hope you understood, right? This is what is credit creation. This is what happens. Okay, now we will go to some questions, the questions that will be asked in the paper, right? Now this is in short. A bank can only give additional loans only if they have excess reserves. So if they are asked us to find the excess reserves, the first thing that we have to do is find the excess reserve, right? If they have asked us to find the loans that can be extended, then we have to look for, right, excess reserves. So excess reserves will equal reserves minus reserve requirement, right? So reserves will be the amount of notes and coins they have, right? It is always in notes and coins, minus the requirement. Requirement is deposits into SRR, right? So after we find this, what we do is to show the balance sheet just after these loans are provided, we add that to the deposit, we add that to the loan, right? Hey, just remember the step. Hey, now you have understood the process, but simple thing that you have to do, right? When they have asked you to find, right, show the balance sheet just after these loans are provided, just add it to the loans, add it to the deposits. That's what happened. And when we are asked to show the balance sheet after these loans are cleared, we subtract that excess reserve, the amount, from the deposits and also from reserves, right? That's what finally happens. So in short, right, what we do is first we add to the we find the excess reserves, that is the loan that the bank can give. We add it to the deposits and add it to the loans, right, just after the loans are given. And when the balance sheet of the bank is after the loans are cleared off, we subtract it from the deposits and we subtract it from the reserves. Then we get the balance sheet after these loans are cleared, right? Hope you understood. So we'll try this sum, right? Suppose one bank in a commercial banking system has the following balance sheet.
මම ටික වෙලාවක් රැඳී ඉන්න.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. There's a power cut in our area, right? Can you all hear me? Right. So it is the power cut here, right? Hope it will not be an interruption, right? So we'll try this question, right? Suppose one of the banks in the commercial banking system has the following balance sheet, right? All figures are in millions. If SRR is 25%, what is the maximum loan that this bank can extend, right? Try this, children. Right. Okay, hope you have finished, right? If SRR is 25%, what is the maximum loan that this bank can extend? So as I told you, that is the question they will ask. So a bank can give loans only if they have excess reserves. Now they have reserves or notes and coins worth 40 million, right? Deposits of 100 million. Exactly. So how much of excess reserves they will have, right? So reserves they have is 40 million and the amount of reserves that they should have is 25%. So out of 100, they have excess of 15. Remember that this is not the answer, right? They're not asking for excess reserves, okay? They're asking for, right, the maximum loan that this bank can give. So this bank has excess of 15, which can be given as loans. So the maximum that they can give is 15, right? Now, when they ask what is the maximum loan that the bank can extend, you add the 15 to 65 and say it is 75. No, it's not that what they have asked you. They are asking what is the maximum they can give additionally, right? Now they have excess of 15. If they want, they can give 10 and keep 5 excess. If they want, they can give 5 and keep 10 excess, right? But even if they want, they cannot give more than 15. So that is the maximum loan that they can give. Did you understand it? So once you have got this answer, have the practice of concluding, right, what the question has asked for, right? They will extend, they can extend a maximum of 15 million as new loans. Right? Hope you understood. Okay. Now, the next probable question is how the balance sheet will appear just after these loans are provided. Right? I'll give you 1 minute. If you are wrong, correct your answer quickly. Okay. Next, they will ask, how will the balance sheet of the bank appear? Right? So one student asked, why should we not add to the loan already there? We do. We add the 15 to 60 and the loans will be 75. Yeah, that we do. Right? But the question is, right? They are asking what is the maximum loan that they can extend, right? But that question doesn't intend to ask, right? What is the total amount of loans that can be given? But this is what is the additional loan that they can give? What is the extra loans that they can give? So they can give extra 15, right? Altogether it will be 75. Hope you understood. Right? Okay. So how will the balance sheet of the bank appear when these loans are extended? Could you quickly draw this? Right? Hope you have finished. So what will happen is when these loans are provided, right? Just after the loans are provided, loans will increase, right? Already we have 60, so loans will increase to 75 with the additional 15 given. And we have already 100 deposits. So with the deposit that was given as loans, right? It will increase to 150. So we'll have the balance. Okay, hope you have got the answer. Now see how the balance sheet will appear after these loans are cleared. Now this is just after the loans are provided. And how will the balance sheet appear when these loans are cleared? That means the person who gets this 15 go and deposit in another bank, and then bank asks for the money, and this bank will send that money. Okay, that is the clearing process or the realization process, right? So how will the balance sheet appear after that? Try it before I show it. Okay, hope you have finished. Right, so when the loans are cleared off, right, you will find, now you don't want to change anything other than what we are changing, right? Shareholders equity, securities will remain the same, right? So loans were 75, that will remain the same. Now here they have reserves, notes and coins were 40, but from that they have to send 15, right? Because they have given a loan, right? So reserves will come down to 25. Then deposits will be, right? Now it was 115, it will come down to 100 back again because they are clearing the loan given. Exactly. So after the clearing process, the balance sheet will appear like this. So reserves will come down and deposits will come down, right? Hope you understood. Now this is 2007 paper, right? I'll give you 5 minutes. Can you all try this quickly? Okay, shall we discuss? Suppose one of the commercial banks in the banking system has simplified balance sheet as shown below. If the reserve ratio is 20%, what is the maximum amount of new loans that this bank can extend? This is 2007 paper, right? So if they ask for maximum amount of new loans that the bank can extend, we'll have to look for excess reserves. Excess reserves equals reserves minus requirement, right? So reserves, they have 22,000 and requirement is 20% from 100, right? So 20% from 100 is 20,000. So the required amount of reserves they should have is 20,000. They have reserves of 22,000, which means they have excess of 2,000, which can be given as loans. So remember to conclude, they can extend a maximum of 2,000 million as new loans, right? Hope you have got this answer, right? Then so how the balance sheet will appear after this, after the bank has lent the additional amount. Right, the loans are provided. Now they can give 2,000 as new loans. So loans will increase to 42,000. That will be given as a deposits initially. So deposit will increase to 102,000, right? So add it to the deposits, we add it to the loans. That's the first step. Then when they are clear off, we deduct it from demand deposits and deduct from deposits. So this is how it will once are cleared off. Then after cleared off, like this, right? Right, and loans will remain the same for the 2,000, and reserves will come down to, right, 20,000 as. Hope you understood. Now there will be two types of questions asked in the paper. Paper එකේ ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ප්‍රශ්න වර්ග දෙකක් අහනවා credit creation සම්බන්ධව. එකක් තමයි one bank. අපි දැන් one bank ඉවර කළා. ඊළඟට තමයි අහන්නේ banking system. So most of the questions are from banking system. Did you understand it? So hope you understood how to get the questions from one bank. Then we are going to the banking system. So when you are doing the calculations in the paper, right, first you have to check whether it is given from one bank or the banking system. Also remember that there are money multiplier sums, right? So if you are doing the money multiplier sums thinking it is a deposit multiplier, you are going wrong. If you are doing one bank thinking it is a banking system, you are going wrong. You understand that? If it is one bank, they will ask for the additional loans that the bank can give. So find the excess reserves, add it to the loans, add it to the deposits just after the loans are given. And when it is cleared off, you subtract it from the deposits and subtract it from the reserves, right? That's the only thing that they will ask about one bank. Then we will come to banking system, right? But before you are doing the calculations, you need to understand whether it is given from one bank or the banking system, right? So if you are going wrong in the first first understanding, then you're going wrong in the whole sum, right? And also remember that there are deposit money multiplier calculations, right? That is totally different, right? To deposits multiplier. So deposits multiplier suggests, right, when the banking system receives 1 rupee, how many times it can turn into other types of deposits. Is that clear? Right? Whereas the money multiplier is when the government print 1 rupee, how many times it will turn into other types of money, right? Okay. So now we'll put up a small consolidated balance sheet for the whole banking system to the 3 steps that we have passed so far. So we went 3 rounds. After the 3 rounds, right, Bank A had deposits of 1,000, Bank B had deposits of 900, Bank C had deposits of 810, Bank D had deposits of 729. Altogether, there was deposits of 3,439. And currency held by the public was 1,000, so the money supply was 4,439 million. Now, if we put up a small consolidated balance sheet for the system, right, taking all the deposits as one, right, we will get deposits of 3,439. Remember, originally the banking system received 1,000 million, and we have an assumption that until the credit creation is complete, there will be no money coming in again, right? We had assumption like that. Until the credit creation is complete, nobody else is going to deposit money. So there was a deposit of 1,000 million, and we are trying to understand how this 1,000 million can create deposits. So until this deposit creation happens, there will be no new deposits coming in. That is our assumption. So we have only notes and coins worth 1,000 that originally came with the primary deposits, right? This 1,000 has gone from bank A to B, B to C, C to D, right? Creating more and more deposits. But however, every bank will hold some money. Bank A held 100, Bank B held 90, Bank C held 81, right? Bank D will hold 72.9. So they will keep 10% of it and 90% will be given as loans. So that will go to another bank, creating more deposit in that bank. That's how the credit creation happens. Did you understand that? So altogether, so far, they have created 2,439 loans, right? So this is a consolidated balance sheet for the banking system just after 3 rounds, right? Just after 3 rounds. Okay, but when we are doing calculations, we are doing calculations for the banking system when the credit creation is complete, right? Credit creation completes when banks hold the total reserves as, right, total amount they receive as reserves. Now you can understand that bank C had to keep even. So everybody will be holding some money, held amount or the reserves equal to total amount that they have received, right? And they have no longer any excess reserves, right? They cannot give more loans, then the credit creation will complete, right? By then, the banking system might have created 10 times higher, 20 times higher, sometimes 5 times higher deposits. But what will decide that? What will decide the amount of deposits that the banks can create? That will be decided by the rate, by the SRR, right? Now here, I have put up the 3 rounds, A, B, C, then 4 round, 5 round, 6 round, 7 round, 8 rounds, 9 rounds. So this will go until this total 1,000 received will be kept with the banks as reserves, right? So only then that the credit creation will be completed. By then, 1,000 has turned into 10 times, 10,000 deposits. Exactly. So the money multiplier will be, deposit multiplier will be 10, right? So what decides that this 1,000 can turn into 10,000, right? Can't 1,000 turn into 20,000? Can't 1,000 turn into 5,000? So what decides that? It is decided by the SRR. It is decided by the amount that the bank hold, right? Let's assume Bank A got this 1,000 and they are not giving any loans and they are keeping the total 1,000 with them, right? So if that happens, there will be no deposits created in Bank B. There is no deposit created in Bank C. There is no deposit created in Bank D. The deposit creation will be, right, closed at that point if the Bank A holds the total amount as reserves. So it is the amount that they hold as reserves that will decide how many times this money will rotate within banking system. Did you understand that? Right? So it is SRR that is deciding. So if SRR is 50%, then bank has to hold 500 and only 500 will be there to rotate or will go to another bank. Right? So that means the credit creation will be, right, like half done. And it will come down to very small amount. Did you understand that? Right? So it is the new, it is the reserve held by the banking system, right? SRR that decides the credit creation power, right? So it will make it easy for us, right? This is the SRR that decides the deposit multiplier. It is the reciprocal of SRR, right? What do you mean by reciprocal, right? What do you mean by reciprocal? Now, if it is 100%, that is, if it is 10%, that means 10 over 100. Okay, so the reciprocal will be 100 over 10. which means it is equal to 10. Did you understand it? Right? So we normally take SRR as 1 over SRR will be the deposit multiplier. Reciprocal of SRR. SRR 10%, that means 1 over 10% will be the deposit multiplier. So according to our example, it was 10%. 10% means 1 over 10% is equal to 10. That means the banking system has ability to create 10 times higher deposits when they get 1 rupee. Did you understand it? That's how that's how they created 10,000 deposits, right? Hope you all understood, right? So remember that deposit multiplier is 1 over R, right? And you will have to remember these equations. How much the deposits that the banking could create at the fullest creation can be calculated using the following equations, right? That is deposit multiplier, that is 1 over R, into the amount of reserves, into the notes and coins they have, right? So if you multiply the amount of deposit multiplier from the amount of reserves they have, we can find the total deposits that the banking system can create. Is that clear? Right? So total deposits equal deposit multiplier into reserves, right? Okay, we'll do some calculations to understand this better, right? Since we are running out of time. Okay, we'll at least do one question. Try this. Try to do it with me quickly. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Try this. Right. I will try.
ඔව් මේ දවස්වල කොහොමත් හැම පැතිවලටම තාක්ෂණ දෝෂ ඇති වෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි තවත් දවසක මේ වගේ ඉකොන් සෙමින එකක් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා දුවදරුනි. එහෙනම් අද අපිත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වුණ අපේ සෙට බොහොමත්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම කියන්න ඕන දේවල් ටිකක් තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉස්සරහට තියෙන දේශන ගැන දැනගන්න ඕනේ නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ තවමත් නැනපවර ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් එකේ ටෙලිග්‍රෑම් ගෲප් එකේ නැත්නම් 0.71 7යි 725යි 735 0.71 7යි 725යි 735 යන නම්බරයකට ටෙලිග්‍රෑම් ඔස්සේ මැසේජ් එකක් දාලා අපේ ටෙලිග්‍රෑම් ගෲප් එකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ යාළුවන්ටත් කියන්න අපේ වාණිජ්‍යාංශයට විතරක් නෙමෙයි කලාංශයට, ගණිතාංශයට, විද්‍යාංශයට, තාක්ෂණ වේදාංශයට මේ හැම අංශයකටම හැම විෂයකටම දේශන කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඉතින් යාළුවන්ටත් කියන්න අපේ YouTube channel එකට ඇවිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලන්ට අවශ්‍ය වීඩියෝස් බලන්න කියලා. ඒ වගේම බලලා යද්දී මතක් කරලා අපේ YouTube channel එක subscribe කරන්න කියන්න. එහෙනම් අපි නැවත වතාවක් දේශනාවකින් හමු වෙන බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් දැන්ට සමගන්නවා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.